Start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fireside 5. And this session I am so excited about. We've got the beautiful Jennifer O'Donnell with us. Now, Jennifer and I have just recently met. We are currently doing our 300-hour yoga teacher training through Uplifted Yoga. And Jennifer is this amazing entrepreneur who has worked so deeply in the corporate fashion world, a very patriarchal system, I guess you would say. And through that, Jennifer has chosen to do her own inner work and almost always had a sense that there's something more than this isn't quite right, this isn't working. And so what Jen's now doing is this amazing work with Gucci to Guru, which I absolutely love the name of. It totally makes sense. And currently just wanting to work with women in the corporate world to lead from a sense of self-safety, self-love, compassion, and strength drawn from within rather than mirroring that egoic masculine around. Would you add anything onto that, Jen?
Well, thank you, Sarah. And I am so honored to be here with you. You are such a light in the world. And although we have not known each other that long, I had such an instant connection with you and the work that you are
Yes.
doing because your energy is to me all about safety and grounding and the just to be in your presence is such a gift and I just adore the work that you are doing. So it's such a privilege and a pleasure for me to be here with you and to meet some of your friends in this fireside chat. So thank you for the intro. And
Yes.
I think you did nail it on the head just to reinforce a couple of the points about me. So Gucci to Guru is really my story from high fashion to higher consciousness. So living in the high fashion world of New York City, working for these incredible brands like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Tiffany and Company, et cetera, where life looks so beautiful on the outside. And all of my colleagues seemed so buttoned up and beautiful on the
Mm.
outside and had the titles and the teams and the travel and the dresses and the beautiful couture. But it all came to a head when this one moment in time when I was sitting in my office on Madison Avenue and stress was high and anxiety was high and people were really at each other's throats. And I
Yeah.
stepped out of the office and I walked over to the Plaza Hotel and I sat in front of the fountain and I looked down at myself and I had all this beautiful, I had these beautiful suede tall high boots and a fur coat and a beautiful handbag and all the things. And I looked at myself and I said, my closet is full, but my life is empty. And I put it into my phone, that thought, because I knew it was a very pivotal moment for me. And I always remember it. And I remember I ceremoniously walked to the fountain, threw a coin in the fountain, and I said, God, lead me to the next best step for myself. And that
Yes.
kind of went into this whole journey of wellness and, getting rid of all the fear that had been in my life and redefining what success is. And I've really redefined that success is building a life that feels as good as it looks. So we can have all the things. We can have the homes and the clothes and the titles and the money and the golden handcuffs and all of these things. But if we're not feeling life and we're not experiencing life, why are we doing this? So to me, building a life that feels as good as it looks became my journey. And it became, how do I get to that? How do I really find that? And so
Yes.
I found Kundalini yoga was one of the things, Kundalini and meditation. Um, and what I've learned through that, which is how I found you in this 300-hour yoga teacher
Yes.
training, because I started out with Kundalini. And what I found was in order to create something new, we have to let something go. And I was actually working with a coach at the time, and she
Yes.
gave me this analogy. She said, if you wanted to redecorate your living room and you wanted to buy all this new furniture, wouldn't you have to get rid of some of the furniture that you had? Like, would you just bring in all this new furniture without getting, and it always stuck with me. It's such a silly thing, but going back to like Kundalini and building a life that feels as good as it looks, Kundalini helped me to clear a lot of things out of my mind, my body, my soul, things that were conscious and things that were not conscious, so that I could erase all of the old programming,
Yeah.
the thoughts, the the identity that I learned through living life, which
Yeah.
wasn't who I really was. As we know, we have to return to who we came here to be. And Kundalini, through breath work, through movement, through mantra, through chanting, it was like my daily dose of taking out the trash, so that, and that's what we do through the movement and the mantra and the breath. And that was like part one. And then you go into the
Mm.
meditation, where you can then start to manifest what you want and call in what you want. But you can't do that if you don't take the trash out first.
Yes.
So my journey, to building a life that feels as good as it looks started with getting the negative thoughts out of my head, the stored emotions out of my body,
Yeah.
and then being able to listen to the inner wisdom that showed me the way forward. So this has been a big part of my, transition from high fashion to higher consciousness. And now what I do, through executive coaching, which, I learned how to coach people, leaders, through my experience of 20
Yeah.
years working in the industry. And then I got
Of
my
course.
coaching certification and my health coaching certification and executive coaching certification. And all of that is good work that I do. But we are interconnected beings. And I think of like my coaching as sort of like Chinese medicine
Yeah.
versus traditional Western medicine, where you have a broken arm, you go see an orthopedic person. You have a heart condition, you go to a cardiologist, and you treat different pieces and different symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at coaching. Oh, I had a career coach, and I had a business coach, and I had a health coach, and I didn't have somebody that was like looking over me as a whole person. And just like in Chinese medicine, they look at the whole person, they look at the patterns, they look at the root.
Yeah.
And through my coaching, I can bring in all of this yogic wisdom along with the executive and the health to treat the whole person and get to the root and get to the core. And with all of my
Mm.
clients, they might think they have a problem, with executive presence and these types of things. But as you peel back the layers, you realize it's really about being confident in who you are. And how we get there is through a lot of the yoga work that we do, whether
Yeah.
it's the physical, the breath, the even just the philosophy and the principles and all of that.
Yeah. That inner work.
Yes.
Yes, this external block or challenge might be coming to surface for you, but there's something deeper as to why that's happening.
Yes.
Yes. You're like, you've got the Western medicine and the Western coaching, and you're like Eastern Coast coaching.
Yes. Yes.
That wholeness, and that's the way it needs to be. I
Yes.
absolutely love that.
And I think
I absolutely love that.
yeah, people are really, a lot of these people are so burned out. And so I call what we're doing the chicest rebellion against burnout culture, because I like to have
Yes.
fun. And that's what Gucci to Guru is. It's poking fun at the fashion industry a little bit and overwork. And just, we take ourselves a little bit too seriously, I think. And
Mm.
we need to peel back the layers, and we need to add vulnerability and feminine
Mm.
energy back into the corporate world. And
Yeah.
people are hungry for this, and they're really craving it.
Yeah.
And I think the chicest rebellion of all is really being able to push it back a little bit on the status quo, and for companies and leaders and CEOs,
Mm.
I'm working on chakras for CEOs right now because CEOs don't need more strategy. They need to be in their body and they need to regulate their energy because their energy infuses in their team and their organization and to their clients and to their success and their results. So how do we bring more of this feminine energy and energy management to the corporate world? And so this is like really what I've been working a lot on. And they call it emotional intelligence, which is really four things that they want executives to do: be able to have self-awareness,
Yeah.
self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. And that's all work that we do through our bodies and through our inner wisdom and
Yeah.
through our chakra system. So people want this, and it's really exciting to be able to look at leadership in a whole new way and
Yes.
create spaces and programs and ways that women particularly can get in touch with their own executive presence
Yeah.
and strength through within themselves, not through what someone else
Yeah.
is telling them.
Yeah. And it it's almost we have become serious to be able to keep up with that masculine way of being and thinking, to feel that's how we need to be for them to take us seriously,
Yeah,
that patriarchy. Whether it's, women or men stepping into that role. And what you're doing is you're reigniting that sense of power that comes from the feminine. It's not a weakness. It's something to be taken seriously. And yeah, there's so much space for that, and women are ready for that. And it's a scary space for men, for us to bring forward. There's a reason why it's been suppressed over the years and centuries from, way back. There's a reason why it was suppressed, because it
yeah,
is so powerful and potent, and you're bringing that back, and that's how the world needs to be run, Jen. Are
yeah.
you ready for Fireside 5?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's do it.
let's do it. I have three questions for you first. Three quick questions.
Okay, tell me.
Tea or coffee?
Oh, both, I would say. I would say
Both.
morning cappuccino, homemade myself, double espresso with pistachio milk, and evening,
Ooh.
yes, divine. And then evening, we do peppermint tea, sometimes with ginger inside, I'll boil some ginger and add it to my peppermint tea. So both.
I love that. There's a beautiful ritual for both too.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
rituals are so important. Another reason
Yes.
why I'm very drawn to you, because I think you understand this as well.
Mm.
And when we root ourselves in rituals, I think it makes life more beautiful.
Yes. Having intention behind all those small
Yeah.
actions every day, because they're the actions we take every day, all the
Yeah.
time, rather than waiting for that annual big manifestation space to take. What are you doing every day? How can
Yes.
you make that so intentional and purposeful?
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to reset? I think I know this.
Well, I mean, Kundalini is a big one.
Yes.
But I would say walking has been
Yes.
huge in my life, especially over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a good way I can I'm an overthinker.
Yeah.
So it sort of breaks the pattern. Both Kundalini and walking for me will break the
Yeah.
thoughts and like free me to get into my body. I think when we get into our body, and who work in the corporate world are sitting behind a desk all day long dealing with meetings and things like this. So to me, getting outside, getting into your body is the most important thing we can do to reset.
Yes. I love that. And what is one song or book that lights you up right now?
Interesting. Right now, I would say my husband is actually a musician. He's a singer, and we've been together 30 plus years. And recently, his dear friend and former partner in his one of his projects, who was a songwriter, passed away just in the last couple of weeks. It was very
Okay.
heartbreaking. He was a genius. And so recently we've started listening again to all these beautiful recordings that they did in the mid 90s.
Wow.
And so that music has such, music is such a sensory experience. It takes you to places, it takes you to emotions, and this is something that like we created together in
Yeah.
early on in our relationship. So that has a special place in my life right now,
Yes.
for music.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah.
Here's
And
your
books,
first.
I'm always like, there's always great books. I have always 1,000 books that I'm tapping into, and, lots of yoga books right now. But I will say that ironically, I recently re-picked up the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People,
Yes.
which is a classic, in a business
Yeah.
book. But when you look at it now with fresh eyes, with all of the things that, we're doing in the world of yoga, wisdom, and all of that, it all is the same. It's just,
Yeah.
so I feel like it's kind of a way of looking at that with a new perspective and how to
Yeah.
bring those principles back. So that's one that I just picked up recently again off my bookshelf.
Yeah. Yeah, good on you. I think that's a good one. And it's interesting picking up those classics, those foundational books over the course of our metamorphosis and it being a completely different book each
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, here's your first Fireside 5 question. So, the womb is a
Yeah.
sacred space, a storehouse for stories both past and present. It holds echoes of joy, grief, creation, and transformation, and every feeling woven into your body's memory. So, my question to you is what stories, emotions, or experiences have you been holding in your body lately?
Wow. Okay. So I would say the emotions that I'm having in my body lately are deeply rooted in transition.
Yeah.
So I've been in a transition mode for the last 12 months, moving from my high
Yeah.
fashion world and leaving kind of behind the identity that I had for so long that really did define a lot of
Yeah.
who I was to the outside world. And, it's almost like a letting go and a welcoming in. And it's funny because as we go back to what we were talking about originally, I like Kundalini because you have to kind of let something go in order to create space for something else.
Yeah.
And I've been, I think, holding on to a lot of these emotions of the past and my past identity, and not being really willing to fully let it go, to fully
Yeah.
step into who I want to be and know to be that who I am.
Mm.
Um, so I think that the emotions that I'm holding there is, it's this moment of transition, and with Virgo season and the moons and the eclipses, and it's just all this feeling
Right?
of transformation and change and letting go. Um, and this is what I help clients with is,
Yeah.
transforming and
Yeah.
going from point A to point B. And I'm sort of in that same moment of,
Yeah.
and I think the big emotion that's coming up for me is how, you know, we have to weather the storm. And if I look back on my life and I look at things that maybe I gave up too soon,
Yeah.
back to what's comfortable for you. And for people who've been workaholics and high achievers in big companies, that's actually easy for you to go back to that. Even though it's not a
Mm.
happy life, it's easy and it's what you get accolades for, and it's what you
Yeah.
know. So sometimes it's like, I think what I'm doing now is like getting over the hump of if I just keep going, I'm going to get there, but
Yeah.
feeling the pull of the old identity and
Yeah.
that's kind of where I think I am.
Yeah, you're creating new stories, and it's almost like the work we do on the fascia. Like the fascia has held those stories and held those triggered emotions and that discomfort and anything to support you in that corporate world that you lived in for decades. And so now you're kind of like, it's we can let go now. We can, and you're
Right.
doing the work and it's slowly, slowly happening. And it's like, I want to create new stories with you, Fasha, but it's still there. It doesn't just go, oh, you've decided to do this now. Cool, let me reform. It
Yes.
takes time. And everyone talks about the butterfly emerging. You're a caterpillar and you become a butterfly, but no one talks about the gooey gunk that caterpillar becomes in the cocoon, completely falling apart, completely retransforming itself before rebuilding itself and then coming out. So
Yeah.
we got to be super comfortable being in this stage because this stage is super important in terms of how we recreate ourselves as that butterfly. And so
Yeah.
that's that space you're in. And what a beautiful space for you to be in and experience so that you can work with your clients in that really authentic experiential way rather than going, well, I know that this is what happens and I've learned that I've done it. I know what you're experiencing right now. So let's move through this together. I think
Yes.
that's
And that's,
so,
I
so,
think, what's so beautiful about our yoga practice is because that's how you stabilize yourself and you
yeah,
remember. You remember
yeah,
who you are, you remember why you're here, you remember. And if you keep going without that, you
yeah,
don't get to sit with it and to remember it and so I think the daily practices of you know Kundalini and meditation and movement and getting
yeah,
into your body and getting out the gunk is what helps you to
yeah.
with the transition.
No spiritual bypassing here.
Yes, we got to go all in.
Feel all the feels. Beautiful. Thank you, Jen. Your next question is leading into it. So, the womb is also a place of wildness and freedom when your inner self can move untamed. So it's where your creativity, courage, and untamed spirit pulse, waiting for moments to express themselves fully. So, my question for you is when do you feel most alive, free, or connected to your wild self?
Yes, I mean, I would say you're going to know that this is the answer. Kundalini is a huge part of it
Mm,
because I need to I have to be in my body and in my breath. And even the simplest taking of a breath, and my husband makes fun of me all the time because, I'll just breathe out
yeah,
loud intentionally,
yes,
and he's just like, oh my God, what are you doing? What's going on? But that's how I come back to myself in a second, in a minute. And the breath to me is life. Breath is life. So whether it's just a breath or a few breaths or a deeply
yes,
rooted Kundalini practice, that's how I come back to myself. And then, of course, being in nature, journaling, writing, sharing,
yeah,
writing is something I'm very passionate about. I like to share my kind of insights. And a lot of times, what I'm publishing on Gucci to Guru is really coming from things that I'm talking to clients about. And then I
yes,
put it in a fun kind of way to create the awareness of what is going on with people. So those are the
yeah,
things that really make me feel my freest and wildest, I suppose.
yeah. That deep reflecting, coming back home to self. Okay, your third question, Jen. Our bodies, especially the womb, hold wisdom and guidance if we listen deeply. She whispers subtle nudges and gentle insights, helping you navigate choices, relationships, and inner growth. What small ritual, practice, or habit helps you come home to yourself?
I would say there are a few because I definitely believe in habits and making them rituals. So whether it's my meditation practice, my sitting on my front porch and having my pistachio cappuccino in the morning
Yeah.
as I journal out and kind of um, acknowledge thoughts that I'm having, and that is very important to my day and setting myself up for a successful day. I think meditation at night,
Yeah.
guided meditation at night to help me fall asleep is very big for me, because the overactive mind, I really need to settle myself
Yeah.
down in a hot shower or a hot bath at night, Epsom salts. That kind of a ritual is very
Yes.
nurturing, especially as we will get into the colder months. So I think, things with water and heat and, being outside and um, meditation, those are my
Yeah.
go-to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Well, this is interesting too. So the fourth question is around rest, stillness, and slowing down
Yeah,
allows the womb to settle, integrate, and regenerate. In these quiet spaces, the body and spirit can realign, releasing what no longer serves and opening to nourishment. So, how has slowing down or resting supported your healing or creativity?
I think, I always would tell people when I was a boss and now as like a coach and a mentor, you need to slow down to speed up. That's like, yeah, I don't know where I heard that originally. Maybe it was Gabby Bernstein. But it's being still is something that a lot of people in the working world today do not do. They are back to back to
Yes.
back to back in meetings. And this is like glorified that they're so busy, the over glorification of
Yes.
busyness. And I'm traveling here and, you know, uh, I'm on my way to the airport, but I'm on the phone having a conference call going up into the gate to check in to security and my phone.
Yes.
And it's every minute of every day. So what I find is that no one has time to be still and to listen to themselves. Um,
Mm,
and so to be still is really to be still, to unplug, to create that time for yourself and turn off notifications
yes.
and on if it's 10 minutes, if it's an hour, if it's after 6 o'clock when I get home from the office. I think
Yes.
building in times to be still, to be unplugged, to be without technology and unreachable is something that we should all strive for. And I try to, put that into my day. It's hard.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is
be 100%
hard because
and
we
not
feel we're
someone.
doing nothing or we're being
Yeah,
unproductive, but that
yeah,
stillness is, like you said, that recharge. The phone needs to pause and be plugged in if we want to be able to keep
yeah.
using it and
Because we're
using it
getting
well.
everyone else's energy is coming into our world
Yeah,
before we have our own.
yeah,
And we can never have our own thoughts and our own um, truth if we're letting everything from the outside come into our space first. So walking, I
yes,
would say for me is when I have my most creative thoughts. Walking and
yeah,
showering. I think everyone has their great thoughts in the shower, but when I'm walking, because I'm embodied, I'm in my body.
yeah,
And that stillness creates so much incredible creativity in me.
yeah. That's beautiful. Um, okay. Our fifth and final question is around the womb carries the voice of your inner wisdom and wildness. It is a keeper of guidance, intuition, and the deep knowing that often speaks in whispers rather than words. So, Jen, if your womb or inner self could speak today, what would she say to you?
Mhm. I think she would say to keep moving, take
Yes.
action,
Yes.
and stay the course. Um, that the answers live within me. I need to trust my inner knowing.
Yeah.
I was brought here for a purpose and come home to that, trust that, and embody that and go for it and keep going.
Wow.
So
Listen to that.
yeah.
That's amazing. Jen, I wonder, can you share with us when people go to Gucci and Guru, they go to your Instagram space, which they will from where I'm sharing. I know you've also got an amazing LinkedIn. That's your bread and butter more so.
Yeah.
What would they do with you? What is it that Gucci and Guru has to offer?
Well, thank you for asking. So I work one-to-one with clients in this holistic private client coaching. So I have many different ways that I work with clients to elevate their life and leadership. My most popular program is my 40-day immersion, which is incredible, and I absolutely love it. It's super juicy. You get 6 sessions in 6 weeks. I call it 6 weeks to chic. And it's really about elevating your life and leadership, you know, in a very fast way, because when you work with somebody one on one, coaching is an incredible experience because it really takes your inner wisdom and someone guides you to that, but we don't have time to be still and we don't have time to think. So if we do this consecutively for 6 weeks, you make incredible progress. So that I love that. So I have private coaching that I do, and I also will be introducing a Kundalini um, monthly membership soon, which people can inquire about and get on the wait list for. It's the Elevate 888, which is part of my brand. Elevate 888 Morning Rise, because I believe that how we rise before the world comes to us is everything and changes everything. And so what you can
Yes.
do in 20 to 30 minutes every day with discipline and is incredible. So that will be coming. So right now it's private coaching, and then the Kundalini will be coming soon, maybe this fall. Um, and I'm also working on some leadership uh, digital courses that are really
Yes.
interesting in combining yogic wisdom with executive presence and leadership. And I will hopefully be having a book coming out, which is the Gucci to Guru journey. So I'm working on that as well. But I invite people to follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram to get
Yes.
little tidbits of my, philosophy, which I really enjoy
It's a
spreading.
beautiful space. It's so,
Yeah.
and it's got that playfulness, that
Yes.
cheekiness to it that's so relatable and tongue in cheek, but has so much depth in terms of the messaging behind it. So please all go over to Gucci and Guru. I will add the link so you can find that. It'll be in the comments down here. And Jen, thank you for your time
Thank
today. I've absolutely
you.
loved speaking with you.
It's so fun. Thank you
Yeah.
so, so much. And thank you for all the beauty that you bring to the world. I'm so happy that I have you as a treasured friend. And
Yes.
I look forward to everything that's ahead for both of us. So
Yes,
thank
for both of us. So much love.
you. Much love.